Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Just waiting. We got started a little bit early just to make sure all the tech is ready to go. I'm also going to be live on IG as well, so we'll give it a minute. Hope everyone's having a good day today. I'm excited. We're going to share everything and talk about everything about North Coast and Arc Music Festival. And for our time together, I'm going to also pull up their sites so that we can run through all the deets. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. All right. Hope everyone is having a good start to their weekend. It's Friday. I don't know about you, but I am ecstatic that it's Friday. We're going to go live on IG. Let's see. You could tell it's humid outside because your girl's hair is really big, but hello, hello. All right, so we are live on both platforms. So I will be looking back and forth between IG and here, and we'll run through. Hi, welcome. I'm also live on YouTube as well. If you want to head over there, or if you want to watch the playback, it'll be on both here and on YouTube. So happy Friday, Friday. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Happy Friday. We are a week away. How is everyone feeling? I hope that you are just as excited as I am, because I know that Labor Day weekend is going to be insane for festival going. Obviously in Chicago, we got 2 festivals going on. We also got EZU on the East Coast. So all of the fun is about to take place. And I can't believe that we're here again. It's like, I feel like it was yesterday that we were at ARC, and here we are. We're about to be back at ARC again. So excited. If you have questions about either festival, either North Coast or ARC, make sure you put them in the comments. You can put them on IG or here in YouTube land. So I'm streaming on both platforms. And I also have all of everyone's questions that they already submitted. So I'll probably start with those as we're waiting for everyone to come in. How's everyone doing? How was your week? Emma, I hope the baby's doing great. All right. So to start off, like I said, I wanted to just pop on here. I could have created a video about each of these festivals. Hi, Living by the F Word. How are you doing? I could have just created any video about both of these festivals, and similar to other videos that I have on my YouTube channel. If you want to check those out, I have tips and tricks. I have festival lineup reviews for both of these festivals. But I figured, I just come on here and answer everyone's questions because I figure it would be easier to answer those burning questions. I also included some questions that I've been seeing in some of the groups. So I figured that we could address all of those things together. So let's kick it off. The first thing that I want to talk about is about transportation, because that's very, very important for both of these festivals. If you're not familiar with North Coast Festival, it is a festival that takes place in Bridgeview, which is in the suburbs of Chicago, outside of the city. So it's outside of the loop. And so getting there is going to be a whole different experience versus getting to Arc Music Festival, which happens in the West Loop in the actual city. So I'll just start with North Coast. So North Coast, like I said, is in Bridgeview. Typically, it's really hard to use public transit out there. I believe in the past, North Coast has done a kind of shuttle situation. So basically, you would take, if you're staying downtown, you would take the Orange Line, which is the L, all the way to the end of the Orange Line, which I believe is around midway. Then they would pick you up from there and then take you to the festival and back. Based off of what I know and learned about the shuttle situation, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the most reliable, and there were very specific time frames. Hi, everyone. Just so you know, we're talking about transportation with North Coast, and then I'll hop over to ARC. So I would say that the best case scenario, if you're going to North Coast, would be to take either Uber or a car. And they do have parking on site. I don't recall how much it was. I think it was somewhere between $30 to $40 to park. Now you can buy passes on their site, or you can also pay for parking when you get there. And there's two parking lots, one at the front of the festival at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, and then one at the back. So I think how they had it when I went was anyone who already had a parking pass went at the front, and then in the back they had extra parking for people who wanted to park on site. You just drive up. They tell you how much it is. You pay them with cash. I think they even took card last time I was there, and you can park. And it's literally steps away from the entrance, which is really nice. Now, I would say if I had to choose between Uber and actually parking and driving to North Coast, I would actually choose parking, because once the festival ends at the end of the day, and if you Uber, it's going to be really difficult to get out of there. Some of my friends that went to North Coast, they said it was like a 1 to 2 hour wait to get their Uber, just to get their Uber. And then obviously getting out, there's traffic. I would also recommend, if you can, end the festival a few minutes early to get out. That would be ideal. That way you can kind of beat the rush. So that's my thought in terms of transportation for North Coast. Now, on the flip side of that, you have Arc Music Festival. And as I mentioned, Arc takes place in Union Park on the West Loop, on the west side of Chicago. It's near the United Center. So for all those people who have visited Chicago, it's actually a little further west of the United Center. And with that, it's a great thing because there's plenty of transportation. It's similar transportation that you would take if you were going to go to the United Center, which is where the Bulls play. So with that being said, there's a variety of different places you can take. You can either take the L, I believe there's the pink and the green line, and those run pretty far into the night. They increase the amount of trains back and forth, especially when the festival gets out. And then they also will increase buses as well. So you could take, I think the Madison bus drops you off pretty close, and the Ashland bus. So those are great options. You can also take a taxi if you're staying in the city. You can Uber, which is pretty reliable. And I actually do drive into the city for ARC because I'm coming from the suburbs, and you can actually get a Spot Hero. So there is a Spot Hero that's pretty close. If you don't know what Spot Hero is, it's an app that actually will show you available parking spots around a specific area. So there's plenty of Spot Hero spots in that area. The one that we go to, it's like a parking garage, and it's a few blocks away, and then we park there and then we leave. So it's really nice, it's convenient, and then you don't have to even get your Spot Hero that far in advance. You can get it, right before you go. So I recommend that app. Spot Hero is clutch. I see a question from Emma. Are you doing both this year? No, I have decided this year that I'm doing ARC. I just couldn't pass up the lineup. The lineup was just everything for me. So I am going to ARC only. However, I will say that there are a few artists at North Coast that are paining me to miss. The one that has been on my list for the longest time is MK, and I haven't seen MK come to Chicago in quite some time, and I'm kind of upset that he's not on the ARC lineup. I was hoping he'd be on the ARC lineup, but he's on the North Coast lineup. So that really pains me. I have, however, split the weekend before. The first year of ARC, I actually did go to North Coast, and then for a few days, and then I did one day at ARC. So it is possible, and I know a lot of locals in the Chicago area do both. So painting me. It's paining me, Jess. Not painting me. But yes, it's paining me that I'm not going to be able to go to both. But I'm excited. I think that going to ARC the full weekend is going to be worth it. But for anyone going to North Coast, you're going to have an amazing time. Both lineups, I think, were really solid this year. So I'm really happy. I mean, the only person that really wins in all of this, or thing that wins, is Chicago. I'm rooting for Chicago. I'm so excited that we have such a good variety of festivals now, and we have something to choose from. So I'm really excited about that. But yes, I'm going to ARC this year for the full year. And actually, I had a question asked if I'm doing GA, if I'm doing VIP. I think there's VIP Global and Icon. So I am doing VIP. This will be my second year doing VIP at ARC, which I am so excited about. I really enjoyed VIP last year. And someone asked me, what are some of the perks of VIP? So what I liked about it, I loved the platforms. I loved having a designated area in VIP at ARC, where you could just go chill. They have seating, and you can see all of the stage, and it was really nice. And I even liked the platforms at the expansion stages as well. You just can see kind of over the crowd, and still vibe out and really hear the music without feeling kind of, I guess, claustrophobic in the crowd. However, you do have that option if you do want to hang out with some people in GA, you can still go there. And it's definitely really nice to have VIP when you're at Elrose stage, because it is a tent. It's one of the smaller stages. I like that for VIP, you can get really close to the stage, and it's right next to the fans because it can get hot in there. So I really enjoyed VIP last year. Also, when I walked in at VIP, which was really, really nice, they had a cocktail just to greet us the first day on Friday. I don't think I've ever been to a festival where they're just like, here, enjoy a cocktail. And I mean, it just set the stage for the experience. So I really, really, really enjoyed that. Hey, If you're just joining, I'm live streaming both on IG and on YouTube. So if you have any questions for me, make sure you pop them in the comments. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go through some of the questions that people already submitted. So far I went through transportation, parking, and I also went through kind of where I'm going. I'm going to ARC this year, but you can split if you are interested in exploring festivals. You can split between North Coast and ARC. I enjoy ARC. And I talked a little bit about that transportation. So now I'm going to talk about food recommendations. So let's start with North Coast. So food recommendations are plentiful at North Coast. They have a variety of restaurants as well as food trucks as well that you can enjoy. I personally really enjoyed the Korean tacos at North Coast way back when, and they also had, I believe, like some Chinese restaurant where you could like build your kind of platter. Hi, honey. So, my son, he's back from school. But yeah, so you can kind of build your platter and all of your food options there. And like I said, they have some random like food trucks that are local. They have basic things like, you know, chicken tenders, pizza. I think they had Connie's Pizza the last time. So I think that a lot of people chose kind of pizza as their option, their default option. Now at ARC, it's very different. I would say the thing that I would say the most about ARC is that they do have a lot of food trucks that are really great, and they had some really good, even healthy options. I think I saw like a smoothie truck last year. They had a vegan option. They also had like falafel. And if you know Chicago, in that area, Greektown isn't that far away. So having that kind of option with Greektown right there was really great. So you kind of get a taste of Chicago cuisine there. I know they also had tacos. It's like a Mexican style tacos, which were delicious. They were my favorite. I every year will go visit that vendor because I love them so much. And then I would also say one of our favorites was this vendor that had fresh fruit. It just came in like a pineapple. And that was so refreshing, especially when it was hot outside. So if you wanted something a little bit lighter, you could go for that as an option. Let's see what else. They also had deep dish pizza. I think it was also Connie's. I don't think they had Luminati's. And then the great thing about ARC is because it is downtown, as you're getting let out from the festival, they also had just random street vendors that were lining the streets. So a lot of people would stop at those at the end. It's kind of one of those things that you do in the city when you go to an EDM show. There might be a taco vendor outside, or there might be hot dogs, and it's really good. It caps off the night. So plenty of good food to be had. If you're new here and you're just joining us, we're talking about ARC Music Festival and North Coast Music Festival, just answering all of your questions. So if you have any more questions, make sure that you comment them below. Oh, yeah. So here on YouTube, someone asked that they may have missed it. What festival are you going to this year? I'm going to ARC. I'm really excited. This will be my 3rd year. So I've been there since the very beginning of this festival. And I think I mentioned earlier that I split the first year. So I actually went to North Coast a few days and ARC. So it's very easy to split if that's something that you desire to do. Each festival has different vibes. I would say North Coast vibe is like very like a mixed genre of EDM. So you're gonna get your drum and bass, your rhythm, all of that stuff, deep house, your regular house, all of those types of things you'll get. I think they even had some trance acts before there. So you'll get a good mix, which is really nice. It kind of reminds me of almost like a mini EDC. Or if you're local to Chicago, it's kind of like Spring Awakening vibes, if that makes sense. Okay, and then on the flip side for ARC, ARC is all Chicago and techno house festival. It was derived to celebrate Chicago being the house, the home of house, and the originators of house. So you're going to get a mix of the legends in house, and you're also going to get some of the newer faces to house music as well as techno. So it's a different vibe. The crowds are different. Someone asked, how would you compare the crowds? I would say at North Coast, you're going to get a good mix of ages, a mix of different types of festival goers, because like I said, it's multi-genre. But I would say that the crowd does skew a little bit younger. At ARC, you're going to get the vets of the game. It's an older crowd, a more mature crowd. One is not necessarily better than the other. It's just a different type of vibe. So I would say ARC is more chill. North Coast is probably more high energy, but I mean, we get lit either way. So, but I will say that the vibe is different. Oh, I'm sorry that you're not going to be able to go. Hopefully next year, but have fun at the wedding. That's exciting. Okay. So we talked about kind of the differences in the crowd. Um, Questions also about water situations. So at both festivals, there are water refill stations. So at North Coast, I believe the water refill is right before you go up into the main stage. So the main stage is actually in the SeatGeek Stadium Arena. And at the foot of the stairs, they have a huge water station, which is kind of at the core and the center of the festival. So it's pretty easy to find. I love my lunchbox hydration pack. So shout out to the lunchbox fam because it is really easy to fill. So I always bring mine. And especially in this weather, it's really hot in the Chicagoland area right now. I think it's really important to hydrate. So I would say definitely bring your hydration pack to either of these festivals. Now, ARC also has a hydration station as well, so you can go there and fill up your hydration pack. But I would say that because of how tiny and small ARC is, in terms of it's like this intimate kind of setting in Union Park. What I love about that is it's really easy to get and grab water. So you can still have your hydration pack on you, but you can also easily get a bottle of water, take a break, take a rest, because it's so easy to hop back and forth between stages or to get to a vendor. So that's the beauty about ARC. I've gone with my hydration pack, but I've also gone with my snack pack. Lunchbox also offers a sling that you can easily put like a reusable water bottle in there. You can bring that. You can spill it. Hey, Chris, what's up? You can easily just refill it there. Make sure that it's empty. But either way, you can either bring kind of a reusable water bottle or your hydration pack. All right, so talked about water, talked about what we're eating, and we talked about parking and transportation. Okay, the weather. Guys, everyone's been talking about this weather this week, and I must say it's hot. This week has been hot. Like the other day, we were at 100 degrees, and the humidity is like 92%. I was looking at my phone today and it's pretty high. Hence the hair. I mean, it's very, very humid here right now. So just be aware. Now, it does look like it's going to cool down next week, but the temperature is still showing in the 80s. So I would say just to err on the side of caution, make sure you're dressing for this weather. Make sure that you're wearing breathable clothing. If you get cold easily, you can always bring a pashmina or something to cover up later. But I would say breathable clothing, dress for warmth, and the sun. It's going to be sunny the whole weekend, which is great for us, but make sure that you're wearing your sunscreen. I would also recommend cooling towels if you can, making sure that you're hydrated. Now at ARC, We all love Elrose stage, which is great, but it gets extremely hot at that stage too. So I would just say, like, really listen to your body, especially if you're going to arc and you're at that stage. Listen to your body, cool off, take a break, and dress for being in a crowd. It may be, mid 80s when you're just walking around, but when you're getting closer and bodies are around you, it gets hotter. So just think about those things and make sure that you pace yourself. All in all, though, I think we couldn't ask for any better weather. Yeah, there definitely can be some heat exhaustion, specifically at ARC at the Elrose stage. I heard of a couple people passing out just because how hot it is in there. I'm hoping this year that they fix that problem with more ventilation. They did add in some fans last year, which really helped. I remember seeing Justin Martin on day 2, and the fans were going, and it was such a vibe. It felt so good. So I hope that they continue that and solve for air circulation at that stage. So we will see. Okay, I'm just checking to see if there's any more questions coming through. Okay, so I do have a little bit more around getting into both festivals. So let's go back to North Coast. At North Coast, there are 2 entrances. There's one at the very front of where you would typically go into SeatGeek Stadium, and then there's one at the back of the stadium. The one at the back is kind of a secret. I always would recommend checking there first because the lines at the front of SeatGeek Stadium get really crowded. They get long pretty easy. So I would definitely try to go in the back. If you're already parking in the back, you might as well just head that way. In terms of how long it takes to get in, it really varied by day. Friday, when we went to North Coast, we got in really fast. And then Saturday, it was a lot more difficult. So just plan for at least 30 to 45 minutes minimum to get in. So you don't want to get there and it's time to see your favorite artist and then you're stuck in a line. So just plan accordingly when you're traveling there. Yeah, Chris, I'm glad that you're coming to ARC. Hopefully we can see each other. So that's kind of the situation at North Coast. So seeing here on YouTube talking about the parking situation at ARC. Yes, so the parking situation at ARC, they don't have designated parking. I did talk about this early, but there's no designated parking at ARC, but there are ways around that. You can take all of the transportation, the buses, the public transit. You can also Uber there. And then I would recommend Spot Hero, the app. There is plenty of Spot Hero spots in that area. The one that we choose, it's like a parking garage. It's like 2 blocks away. We park there and then we walk and we get in fairly quickly. So I think it takes like 15 minutes to get in. So anyways, I talked about North Coast getting in, the lines and how that can vary. Now talking about ARC and getting in. So my experience with ARC and getting in has been pretty seamless. When I went the first year, I actually had GA and I was able to get in very, very quickly into ARC. I think it was like within 5 minutes. And then last year I did VIP. And with VIP, I got in like literally right away. I haven't had any issues. No, Jess, I wish you were coming. I'll be sending you videos, girl. So I would definitely say that that heading in to ARC is pretty quick. There's no line. I haven't experienced a line in all of the 2 years that I went. So you should be able to get in pretty quick right away. In terms of security at both of the festivals, North Coast, it varies. Depends on the person that's checking your bag. It's pretty seamless. It's your typical going through security at a festival. Same thing with ARC. They're pretty nice. I've had great experiences with the staff at ARC. So, they just kind of go through, they check your bag. If you have it, they may like wand you or whatever, and then you go through. Pretty simple. Now, there has been questions around ARC wristbands this year. So if you don't know, the first year ARC did mobile passes. So it was just, a pass on your phone, and that's how you got in. The second year, they did wristbands, and they were actually mailed out to you. This year, they are still doing wristbands, but the first day to get in, you need your mobile code. So I'm not sure exactly. There's rumors going around what happened with that. Maybe something happened with the production of the wristbands and they couldn't get them out in time. But if you are in VIP, you automatically get a wristband the first night you come in. They'll check your mobile pass, you'll get a wristband, and you can use that throughout the duration of the festival. If you're in GA, what they're saying is you have to use your mobile pass, but they do have kind of like wristbands that you can use as keepsakes. I don't know if that means that they're not going to be like usable for the rest of the week, but there is the option to have that wristband so that you can remember the weekend by. So that's kind of where we are with the wristbands. I also had questions around VIP and if you can upgrade on VIP at the festival. Yes, you can at ARC. You can certainly upgrade at VIP. I believe they have a booth where you can upgrade there. And as I mentioned, they have global VIP and then they have Icon. Icon, you get all these other special amenities. There's a special section, additional section for them. I believe drinks are also included into Icon, so you don't have to worry about paying for at the bar. You can just kind of pay it all together. Global's kind of that tier step down where you still have access to a majority of VIP areas, but you just don't have the drinks included. And then you have GA, which I already mentioned. All right. I think we only have a few more questions here. So I'm going to move on to the lineups because everyone was asking, well, who are you? Who do you want to see? Who are you interested in? So let me go into that. So for North Coast, as I mentioned before, I'm not going to North Coast this year, unfortunately. I decided to go to ARC. And really, the reason behind that is I'm a house and tech head, like through and through. And to me, there were just so many other people that I've been wanting to see that have been on my bucket list at ARC this year that I decided to go back to ARC. Also, I love the crowd at ARC. I love the vibes at ARC. I know just based off of my experience being there for 2 years that I'm going to enjoy the vibe regardless of who I'm seeing or regardless of what artists are there. North Coast is also great. I didn't have any bad experiences with the crowd there, but just so you know kind of what my thought process was. But if I were going to North Coast, these are some of the people that I would be interested in seeing. So Friday, you have Marshmello, Alesso, Liquid Stranger, Duke Dumont. I love Duke Dumont. He's one of my favorites. I've seen him live here in Chicago many times. I would see him again. I saw him recently while I was pregnant. So, I've seen him recently. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I wouldn't necessarily go on Friday, just because I have seen him. But he's always a good time. I love his vibes. If you love house, Duke Dumont is obviously at the top of the list. Alesso, I haven't seen Alesso in years. The last time I think I saw him was EDC 2019. So it'd be interesting to see his set, just to see how he's evolved. Let's see. So those are the headliners on Friday. Saturday, the headliners are Zed's Dead, Ganja White Night, DJ Snake, Lane 8. I would definitely be seeing Lane 8. For some reason, the stars just haven't aligned for me. I have attempted to see Lane 8 multiple times, and every time I never fully get to see his set, or something's going on that distracts me, or my crew is just distracted by something else and I don't make it. So one of these days I'm going to make a full Lane 8 set, and that I'm really looking forward to that. But if I were going to North Coast, I would definitely want to hit up his set on Friday. Okay, the headliners on Sunday I are Flume, Alice in Wonderland, Gigantic Nightmare, which is Big Gigantic and Nightmare, and then Chris Lake. As I said, I'm a house head, so definitely would be looking at Flume as well as Chris Lake on those days. Okay, so other artists that I would love to see if I were going to North Coast, Chris Lorenzo, definitely a big house name. MK, I mentioned this earlier that I've been wanting to see MK for such a long time, and I just haven't been able to make it happen for whatever reason. So I would love to see MK one day. So that would definitely be a can't miss set for me. And then also his song with Dom Dalla, Rhyme Dust, has been like playing on repeat for me. So definitely wouldn't miss that set. Elderbrook, definitely would see Elderbrook as well. Other names, Aluna, just great vocalist. I love her vibe. Definitely would check that out. Lee Youth. Young Bay, Valentino Khan, Sultan and Shepherd would definitely see them. Kyle Watson. So there's definitely a good mix of just, good house artists here that, any house head would be happy to see. So those are kind of my top picks without going in too much detail with the rest of the lineup.
Where's the bread?
All right. So in the pantry, go to the pantry. So, in terms of the ARC lineup, so just so you understand kind of what my plans are for the weekend. So, first off, there's going to be so many conflicts with this ARC lineup. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me right now. I'm actually going to pull up the day by day because this lineup is kind of insane. But I had some people kind of reach out to me and say that they're kind of panicking because they're like, how are you going to choose between one or the other? The good thing, like I said about ARC, is that it's very, very easy to switch between stages. So if you know, want to split a set, you can split a set. And also the sets are fairly long. A lot of the sets are 2 hours. So you could spend an hour at one stage and then go over to the other stage. Now I say all that to say, like, I prefer to just let the vibes tell me where to go. Sometimes I have all the intention to split a set and then I end up finding out that I'm really liking the vibe at one place and I stay at one place. So there is that. So in terms of Friday, so the very first person that I would want to see on Friday would be Claudette back-to-back DJ Heather. DJ Heather is like a house legend. I think that would be a great way to start off the weekend and just to kind of set the stage for the vibe of ARC. And then I would probably head over to Tin Liquor. Tin Liquor has been on my list for the longest time. I think it was last year, not this year's Electric Forest, but last year's Electric Forest. I heard so many people buzzing about Tin Liquor's set. And I've been listening to Tin Liquor for years. I just have never been able to catch him live. So that's definitely one of the reasons that sold me to go to ARC for sure, especially when I saw his name. However, I would say that Sam Divine at Elro is going to be a vibe too. Like I said, Elro stage is just a huge party. If you don't know what Elro is, it's kind of like a traveling production company, and they put on this huge, elaborate production. There's going to be props, there's going to be set design, there's going to be confetti cannons. I mean, it's a huge party, and there's usually a theme. I think last year the theme was kind of like a psychedelic vibe. So it was kind of like a 70s vibe. I might be getting my years mixed up between the first year and the last year, but that's kind of the vibe. So there's going to be probably some kind of theme for the stage, and so you definitely want to spend time at Elro. So I think Sam Divine at Elro is going to be a vibe. I may stay at Elro. There's James Hype, but then you have Adam Beer and then Boris. Of course, everyone loves Boris. So I would go to the grid and check out Boris from 6:30 to 8. And then maybe slide on over to Walker and Royce back at Elro from 7 to 8:30. And then I got it in my night with Eric Prydz presents Hollow. I haven't seen Eric Prydz Hollow set before. Now, I'm a huge Prydz fan, but he's never really come to Chicago with a Hollow set before. All the sets that I've seen in Chicago specifically have just been either his Ceres D alias or just a classic Prydz set. So I'm really excited to see Hollow. If you don't know what that is, make sure that you check out some of the videos that you'll probably see on YouTube or even Instagram. It's like this immersive experience where he has these really elaborate visuals. I think they're really building a really nice stage for this specific reason this year. It's going to be a lot bigger. If you haven't already seen some of the pictures, make sure you go check them out on ARC's page on Instagram. But the stage is going to be even bigger to probably allot for a bigger screen for, I think, Eric Prydz set, and then also Tale of Us, which is happening later on in the weekend. Okay, so going into Saturday, just checking to see if there's any more questions that are coming through. Okay, so going into Saturday, I would start my night off seeing Moody Man back-to-back Carl Craig. If I were getting at ARC at 2, I would also probably see DJ Lady D, who is a classic, like, house artist. And this would be all at the expansion stage. I say that to say if I'm getting there at 2 because I do have 2 kids, so sometimes it can be delayed. But I would definitely try to check those 2 sets out. Then I would go to Eli Brown. I haven't seen Eli Brown live, so I would definitely check out that set from 4 to 5. And then I might mosey on over to Elro, to Dombreski, or I might go all the way over to what was formerly known as the Art Car to see Mike Dunn, back-to-back Terry Hunter. Both would be a good time. Both are great house artists. So I would have to kind of play it by ear and see how I feel. Then a can't miss set for me, another one is Patrick Topping. I've been wanting to see Patrick Topping for a really long time live. Again, the stars never really aligned, and he's been on my bucket list, so I would definitely see Patrick Topping. And then from there, it's kind of, I don't know, a mixed bag. I would have to kind of see what I was feeling. So you have Hot Since 82, great artist. Lee Foss back-to-back Gene Ferris. Gene Ferris is a legend. I mean, I love seeing him live, and seeing him with Lee Foss as a back-to-back I think would be really special at Elro. Fatboy Slim, again, another legend. And then at expansions, I feel like this set would be really special. Fisher, back-to-back Loco Dice, back-to-back Nick Falakili. I don't know how to say his name. But anyways, it's a 3-back. I think that is going to be a whole vibe. Then you have John Summit, which, I mean, come on. John Summit, everyone knows that his name is really big in house right now. So I think we're just going to have to play that by ear and see what happens and where it takes me. And then there's a to be announced at the 4th stage, which is formerly the Art Car. which I keep saying formally. So this year they've decided to make the art car stage bigger. And so because of that, they have renamed the art car. It's called Area 909 now. So I'm really interested to see how this stage is going to evolve. Okay, so that's Saturday. My baby girl just woke up, so I don't have much time, but you want to say hi to everyone? Say hi! Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up, guys, with my picks for Sunday, since baby girl is with me. So, Sunday, to start off the day, I think it would be remiss not to get there on time at 2 because you have expansions and the art car having to be announced sets. We don't even know who that is. So, I would definitely check out those 2 sets. Say hi. I would definitely check out those sets to see what it is. And then you have Miss Monique at the Grid. Definitely would check her out. Kyle Walker at Elro would be such a good time. And then you have some local Chicago names that I think are worth mentioning and going to. So like Derek Carter, for instance, you got Dax J, which would be at Area 909. You got Wade in here. Tale of Us, I would definitely end the night at Tale of Us. Oh, there's Peggy Goo, and then there's also Vintage Culture Black Coffee. So you have Tale of Us, Vintage Culture, and Black Coffee at the same time. That would definitely be one of those situations where I'm probably going to split a set just because why not? I mean, they are 2-hour sets. So that's kind of how I would approach all 3 days. We'll see what happens, y'all. Like, I think it's going to be really hard. And if I'm feeling a vibe at one place, I may just, stay at one place. Thanks. These are from Nomad Candy. They're little Oreos. So shout out Nomad Candy. All right, so that concludes all of the questions that I got submitted. I'll check here. Are there any other questions on YouTube or on Instagram? All right. Well, thanks guys for joining me. I'm so excited to go to ARC again this year, but for all those also going to North Coast, have such an amazing time. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Make sure you hydrate. Like I said, it's going to be in the 80s, so make sure that you hydrate and you take care of yourselves. And I will be sharing updates. Oh, also, Pella Ravers will be hosting an official meetup on Saturday. So we still need to look and wait for when the map comes out. So once the map comes out, we'll make sure to update and post that on Pella Ravers IG page as well as on the Facebook group. So if you're in the area, you want to meet up, we will be meeting up on Saturday, and more details are coming soon in the next couple of days. Thanks, Jess. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. I hope everyone finds this helpful. If I didn't get to some of your questions, that's okay. You can feel free to DM me or send me a message, and I'm happy to answer any questions. But everyone, have a good rest of your weekend. Bye. Bye. Dun, dun. Bye, everyone on YouTube. See you later.